Alrighty, let's tackle the world of hotels, guys. How to grow sales through hotels and accommodation providers, the concierge teams, guest service teams, and the sales and marketing teams as well. So it's a great channel. It was one that served me really well. It was probably the first channel that I really invested time and energy in to get some traction, and it's paid me back over and over, year after year really, really well. So I think a lot of you that are running tours and activities, inbound, in destination, are going to have a lot of success here. Like, it's probably not the right channel if you're running outbound or multi-day trips, or you're a itinerary creator or something like that. But certainly if you're running activities and experiences in destination. So let me get my slides up and we'll dive in here. All right, here we go. So growing sales, hotels and accommodation providers to complement the other channels that we've dived into so far. So here's what I like about it. As I was mentioning earlier, the wins can be quick. There's a lot of low-hanging fruit, and the gap between outreach, first call or first in-person, face-to-face to booking could be like hours. It can happen really, really quickly. Right place, right time. They do most require commissions, but it's generally lower, maybe 10% in many, was for me down in Melbourne, Australia. I've heard that other destinations can be higher. Some don't require commissions at all. For some hotel concierge and, sales and marketing teams, it's against company policy. So lower commissions and sometimes not required at all. Relationships are easy to build. Why? Well, they're in destination. They're right there with you. It's a lot easier to build a relationship with someone who's in the same city. Opportunities for face-to-face, multiple touch points, a lot easier to build a really good quality, long-lasting relationship with a hotel concierge than it is with maybe a corporate decision maker who is far less accessible, or like an international agent, or someone that isn't within your immediate geographical area. So really easy to build great relationships. The problem that we have with hotel concierge that I hear from operators in my community is that it's very difficult to break through, and they do a lot of pavement pounding without a lot of results. Okay, everyone's always talking about dropping in on the concierge, and generally, look, it doesn't scale, and it's often wildly ineffective. You can invest hours, days in doing the rounds of the concierge to find that many of those that you want to connect with either are too busy or they're not around. So it doesn't scale. So we need a different way, and that's what we're going to talk about here. Okay, so there's two channels with concierge. There's the front desk. You might hear it referred to as the front desk team, or the concierge team, or the guest services team. Kind of all the same thing. Okay, so some hotels will call them different things. You just need to be aware of that. All right, front desk, concierge, guest services. Then the other is the sales and marketing team. So the concierge or guest services, they're dealing with guests in the hotel at that time. They might hit them up at the concierge desk. They might call down, but they want ideas. They want support, guidance there and then for the period of time that they're staying at the hotel. The sales and marketing team, generally the director of sales and marketing, they deal with incoming groups to the hotel. So there's a little more challenging to break through there, but the rewards are significantly greater. Much better, rather than a on-the-day call from a concierge to take Joe and Betty for a tour, to have the sales and marketing team working with you for an incoming group of 50 that you've got 2 months to plan for. Okay, so there's a lot of upside to both, obviously. Okay, so what do we do? The first part's obvious, and I just want to reinforce and reiterate that what you want to do here, generally speaking, is you want to figure out what the strategy is, what the process is, which could take you a little bit of time, as it might be a few hours there, but then you want to record yourself implementing the strategy, and then you want to kick it off over to a virtual assistant that I've already shown you how to onboard, who's going to actually take it and run with it, okay? So I don't expect you all to be the ones building your lists of hotel concierge, all right? But the way that it would start, let's just wind that up for a second. The first thing is you're going to go over to what we've affectionately called the list, and I'll just grab that up here. There it is. So what you're going to be doing here is, and while I'm doing it, I'm just going to add one little area here, and that's going to be socials. Whoops. Socials. Okay. So what you're going to do is come over here and start populating that list. And as it stands right now, like you might be running tours in New York City or Sydney. Okay. So you are going to have a really great idea of the target hotels that want to go into this list. If you're in New York City, you might have 300 target hotels. If you're in Sydney, Australia, you might have 50. If you're in Hobart, Tasmania, you might have 10. Okay. Really depends on where you're running your trips or experiences. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is start populating the list with all of the data you've got at the moment. You might really easily be able to reel off the top 10, 20, 30, 40 hotels that you want to work with. Okay. If you can't, then just jump over here, jump into booking.com. If you're running experiences in New York City, then you can just simply jump over here. And if you want to get a list of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of potential target hotels, that's the way you do it. Easy, so easy. Jump in there, get these into your spreadsheet. Okay, so you're going to have a combination here. A, the stuff that you already know, the target hotels. You just want to get it into a list to organize your data. B, you're going to come up with a whole bunch through something like a TripAdvisor or Booking.com or a whole bunch of other platforms of all those target hotels you want to get into your database. Okay, and then C, what you want to probably do is come over here to Sales Navigator, and you want to have a look over here. So how would we do this? Let me just move that out of the way. So let's start from scratch. So let's say we're in Sydney, Australia. Let's go Sydney. Whoops. Sydney Hotel Concierge. Sydney Hotel Concierge. So let's see what that comes up with. And we've churned out about 3,000 results. Okay, so let's now come down here, and we want to go, geography is going to be Sydney, Greater Sydney area. That'll work for us. Then down here, we want to be going industry, and the industry is going to be hospitality, or it might also be potentially travel arrangements. Okay, so what else have we got there? Well, let's see what that spits out. 390 results. So you're going to have, of those 390, I reckon there's going to be probably about a couple of hundred of those that are going to be relevant to you. Guest services. So that's the other thing that you could do as well, is you could do job title, and it could be concierge. It could be head concierge. Could be something related to guest services. Let's see. Guest services specialist. Okay. So that's, what have we got there? 152 results. So that's going to be a pretty good indication of your targets. Beautiful. All right. So then you're going to get them into the list. Okay. And the list is that one over here. And at the moment, you're going to have their name, first name, last name, company, and you're going to have a title. And yeah, you might have some, source, obviously, socials. Okay, still missing the email address. That's great. So we're making progress here. With socials, get their LinkedIn handle, get their Facebook handle. A lot of concierge, unlike other channels, are on Facebook. So that'd be awesome, because ideally what you want to be doing is emailing and messaging, direct message. Okay, so that's that. You're really you're making progress now. You're starting to build this list, this target list of hundreds of concierge in these hotels. So we're doing great. All right, so the next thing you're going to do, I'm just going to grab my slides up here again, move that out the way. All right, so you've got a whole, 3 obvious strategies that you're going to use to build your target list. And again, that target list, if you're in Melbourne or Sydney, Australia, probably going to have 50 hotels in it. All right. If, sorry, and the other thing I didn't mention there, with sales navigator, you might also do the same thing, but with sales and marketing as the job titles. Okay. So you're going to get a whole different bunch of contacts. The search term might not be concierge. It might be Sydney hotel, not concierge. Okay. Then you're going to get a whole bunch of sales and marketing. So you're going to have two different types of contacts in there. Awesome. If you're in New York City, throwing numbers out there, you might have 300 hotels in there. You might have 500 contacts, target contacts, because each one, you might have two members of the concierge team. You might have some directors of sales and marketing. So you're going to start building a really great target list. All right. So then what you want to do is obviously start getting them onto your email list. So now this is where you kick it over to a virtual assistant who might spend an hour a day doing just this, hitting the phones. It's laborious, it's archaic, wildly effective as well. You don't need to say who you are, what you do. Hi there, just trying to get an email through to the guest services team or to the concierge team. What's the best email there? Anyone who picks up the phone is almost certainly going to help you. Could be the concierge. Yeah, that's me. Oh, great. And if they ever were to ask you what you're calling for or what you do, just say, oh, I've got an activity that I run here in New York City. No, you don't need to sell yourself now. That can be done in the communication. Okay, so don't be stuttery, ari. I run an activity here in New York City. But most likely it'll be the switchboard, or they won't care. They just want to tell you, they want to get you off the phone. So they'll just give you the email address. Yep, you need to contact the guest services team at email address here. And then your response will be, great, thanks so much. So who's the best point of contact over there? Okay, so then you're going to start to populate your list, your database. Again, you spend 30 minutes perfecting this, making sure it works, and then you kick it off over to someone who can do it at $6 an hour and make 30 or 40 phone calls in that hour. You know, it scales up. It works beautifully. Okay, so that's your number one goal at the moment, is to just build that list out. Okay, so then once you start having some success there, that list starts getting built. You've got you're stalking them on social media, so you're getting connected via Facebook and obviously LinkedIn. And then there's an outreach that goes from this point. Okay, so again, what we're doing right now is we're just wanting to bring them into our world and know what to say to them in that first outreach. We're going to tackle the what to say next to win their business. That's another conversation. Right now, we want to get them on our list and we want to start communicating and warming them up so they know who we are and what we do. Okay, so here's a few suggestions for you. The first one might be something like this. Hi, hope you don't mind me reaching out here. I run insert thing and insert destination. You might be familiar with us. Love to line up a quick call, see how we might help each other out with our common experience in, or with our common passion for, with our common expertise in. I'm sure we'd have a very productive conversation. What's your schedule like this coming week? Let me know. We can set up a time to chat. Okay, that would be a first type of outreach. And that would be, once they're on your list, you've got their connection details, and you could do that both in email and through social direct message. Okay, I would suggest both. You want to surround people, give yourself every chance. Okay, so that is the way that we would get this strategy rolling. Okay, so this all happens without you pounding pavement, without you getting in front of concierge. What we're going to talk about after this in module 3 is the stuff to say and how to say it. And it's going to really apply to a whole bunch of sales channels, including hotel concierge. But for this right now, let's just start building that list so we know exactly who we want to work with, and and many of them. Imagine if you're in a destination with 20 target hotels. Each of those hotels has got 3 or 4 in the concierge team. Amazing. They've also got like a sales department or a marketing department that is their focus is solely to bring business either domestically or internationally into that hotel. And so getting some opportunities there, it would be amazing. It'd be life-changing for your business. And a lot of those could come with a really strong recommendation from the front office, front desk, the concierge team that have been working with you and seeing you deliver and your team deliver for them consistently. Okay, so that's the way we'd start this. Obviously, any questions, I'll see you on the support call this week.